Hi there, my name is Dustin Horvath, and this is another video in the College Collection series. To watch all my videos, click the link in my description. Today's video is going to focus on academic support programs. This video is going to include what academic support programs actually are, the application process including fees and interviews, including some strategies and tips for those interviews, the difference between an academic support program and accommodations, and to answer your big question I'm sure of, is it really worth it? So stick with me and let's talk and learn more about what these programs actually are. Now, full disclosure, 20 years ago, I was applying to college and an academic support program myself. I was accepted into both and I took on the opportunity and gave it a try. I found a lot of growth and success because of that support program, and I stayed in it the entire 4 years of college. I eventually went on to work for that same program, eventually taking on an administrative role, and for 2 years was director of that same program that I had started only about 16 or 17 years prior. So to say that it was kind of surreal and full circle for me is an understatement. But it is because of my experiences on both sides of the fence that I'm giving you some of this information and experience and insight into my video. So enough about me, let's talk about academic support programs. So in a nutshell, an academic support program is essentially designed to support students with disabilities with an academic focus. Now, I make this point because there are some students and parents who apply to programs expecting kind of a full service treatment, as it were, for their overall needs as a college student. Any academic support program is focusing on your academics primarily, with perhaps some degree of consideration for mental health concerns or physical impairments, but the main focus here is on your academics. Students who apply to these programs will do so through a separate application process, meaning you're going to have the main application for that institution and you're going to have a separate application specific to that program. The reason being, a lot of the information required for that academic support program is confidential in nature. So take your IEP, your 504, your psych testing, any bit of specialized testing or information that you have about your disability and the nature about your disability and how you were supported leading up to college is separate and should be remaining separate from the overall application process for that institution. The rule of thumb here is that when you apply to an institution like a college or university, you want to make sure you're giving them the information they're requiring. When you're applying to an academic support program, you're going to most likely provide all those general admissions information on top of all the requisite documentation that you're going to need in regards to your disability. So one major suggestion I can make is that you need to be very specific and careful with what you do with your confidential information. And if you were to, let's say, email those documents, do so in a confidential manner.
So let's switch on confidential mode, and it can take some time before this feature is rolled out. However, once it's active, you can simply dive into your Compose window, and once you've typed up your email, you will notice that there is a new icon in the bottom right. Now, when you click on that, you will get your options for your confidential mode. Now, confidential mode is disable printing and forwarding. You can also set an expiry. Now, this expiry will automatically delete the email from the recipient's inbox. In addition to this, you can also require an SMS passcode or verification to open the email.
So you can set emails to be password protected, and they can even disappear after X number of days if you set it so. But always double and triple check that the person you're emailing it to is the right person, and double triple check the email address to make sure that you're sending it to the correct person. There's no bigger fear than emailing something really highly classified or confidential about yourself to the wrong person, because you can't get it back. Now, talking about the application process, they often require a checklist of certain documents that you have to submit. Those, again, are specific to that individualized program and the nature of support that they provide. But just understand that the testing needs to be updated, the meetings need to be had, your IEP should reflect your senior year. It should be relevant to your experiences as a young adult, as someone who's in high school. Now, one key insight that I can share with you, especially for high school students right now watching this, if you are considering or applying to an academic support program, you, the student, should be the first line of communication to that representative at that institution. Now, speaking of the application process, students, if you're seeing this and you're the one considering the academic support program, you should be the main line of communication to the representatives of that program. It demonstrates self-advocacy and self-disclosure skills, but also shows that you're organized and put together enough to make the application process work and to maintain those lines of communication whenever a setback may arise. So parents, if you're watching this, you are not being told necessarily to step back, but at least allow your child the opportunity to take on the leadership position of following through on all of these steps. But you can be a really important facet when it comes to organizing and making sure meetings are upheld and scheduled, that the testing is being updated, and that everything fits in line with the requirements of that program. Now, this fits into the next section, which is the interview portion of the application process. Oftentimes, students will be invited in for an interview. And this is where the communication really starts to build up and the rapport begins to be established, because now the representatives and you have an opportunity to have a very candid conversation about you, your disability, the nature of your disability, how it impacts you in and outside of the classroom, your goals, your interests, your passions, what it is that you're overall kind of looking for from your time in college, and how you plan to use this program effectively. So one suggestion I could make to students is to do a little bit of research about the program in advance and kind of get a sense of how they operate and what it is they actually do. This helps you in the immediate because in your overall college planning process, you might be looking at 3, 4+ institutions that all have their own versions of the same program. And it's important to know your needs in terms of supports that they provide and do they mesh on paper. So you need to be evaluating them as much as they're going to be evaluating you in the process. One other key detail here is to ask questions. You can ask questions about yourself in relation to how they would support you, but also how they support their students in general, what's the culture like within the institution and the program, the success rate of students, the majors. Learn all those demographic details before you really take the application to the next step. And if you're struggling with understanding some of this, or if you're having trouble coming up with anecdotes that you might be able to share to better explain your experiences as a person with a disability, talk with your counselor, your psychologist, your case manager, the social worker, the special educator, your parents, the doctor, the neurologist. Talk to whoever is in part responsible or involved in your overall educational planning and assessment. Ask them questions too about the nature of your disability and how it impacts you. Read through your testing, your reports, everything. You don't have to commit all of it to memory, and no one's expecting you to go in sounding like a mini psychologist. That's not the point. But the more insight and information and anecdotes you can share, the better the experience will be for both sides. Now, as I also mentioned, cost can be a factor into the overall application process as well. Typically, these programs operate above what is legally required by that institution, so that's why they come at the additional fee. In a lot of cases, the semesterly or yearly fee that's charged by the program can be baked into your overall tuition package. And I would put it this way, if you're considering it, but you're kind of on the fence because of costs, just understand that college in and of itself is very costly in terms of your money and your time. So if you want to use your time wisely and spend your money effectively, these programs are kind of like the GPS system that would really make the difference for your navigation in your car. It might save you a lot of setbacks and headaches being a part of this program, at least for the first year or two, until you get kind of your sea legs for college, as it were, so that you're better prepared to meet a lot of the requirements and the rigor and the overall structure of what college means. The unfortunate reality here is that not everyone who applies to an academic support program is going to be accepted. Unfortunately, there's a variety of reasons why a student may end up getting rejected from a program, and that can and does happen. A lot of these programs are relatively small and they're very competitive. They often have a cutoff rate as to how many students they can accept in a given semester or given year. A rejection from an academic support program does not affect your status with the college. You can be accepted by the college or university, not accepted by the academic support program, but still attend that institution. The other thing to keep in mind is that the academic support program is not the same as your accommodations. So again, if you're not accepted by the academic support program, you are still eligible as long as you apply for and get accommodations. Accommodations are free, provided from the institution, but they must be reasonable in nature. You must apply for them and be a part of an intake meeting, and the nature of your request must be considered reasonable by the institution. But your application and the ultimate decision on that application for your academic support program does not impact your status within that institution or your application for your accommodations. And like I said, there are limitations to what these support programs can offer in terms of services and supports. And every program's a little different, but primarily a lot of these programs operate on a one-to-one basis between a student and a learning specialist. And it's through these sessions that are predetermined. The number of days and time each week will probably stay about the same, but the amount of sessions you have may fluctuate depending on the program you're looking at. But these sessions that you have with a learning specialist or a mentor or whatever they're calling it allow you opportunities to grow as a student academically and as a person holistically, and allows you to learn strategies and to incorporate these strategies and these tools in your toolkit to become a more autonomous, more self-driven person and student. However, they only work as well as you work them. So students, you need to be making sure that you're bringing work with you for every session because you're paying for this. So there's always something to be done as far as I'm concerned when it comes to college work, whether it's readings or defining terms, outlining notes, preparing for exams and studying, reading, proofreading, coming up with ideas for papers. Whatever the case is, there's always something to be done in your sessions. So that's the video in a nutshell. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Hopefully I can answer for you. If you like the video, give me a like and consider subscribing to my channel. I always try to provide a lot of educational content that I think is very helpful for a lot of high school students with disabilities and their parents. The full college collection can again be accessed through the link in my description. Feel free to click on that and view more of my content. And I always try to incorporate music from my good friend Ben Backus. Check him out, benbackusmusic.com, for all of his information. His most recent musical project is called Dream Codex. You can find him on Spotify and Instagram. And as always, thank you so much for your time and have a really great day, and good luck to you on your college planning process. If you need help, check out my website, pch-consulting.com. This is where I step in to help high schoolers who have a lot of questions and their parents better understand how college can work for you as a person with a disability. pch-consulting.com for more details.